Hello YouTube, De-bodgery here. So I have drilled the bolt pattern in the rim. This is incredibly easy to do. If you want to duplicate a bolt pattern from one thing into something else, it is not rocket science. You don't need CAD, you don't need any sophisticated measuring tools. You need a rotary table, an XY rotary table specifically, but that's really all you need. Okay. And of course some way to mount the whole thing, like a 3-jaw chuck works super well for this kind of thing. And of course my 3-jaw chuck is centered dead over my rotary table. Okay, so all I needed was to take the rim and stick it down on the motor, just nice and snug, and then find a single hole. That's all I needed. So that's this one right here because I've chamfered the edges on it. So once I had that one marked on the aluminum, then I could take this whole thing back over here, clamp it all up like it is now, and then all I had to do was use the XY axis to position that spot directly under the drill bit. I didn't do this with the drill bit first time around, wherever it is. There it is. So, this is an indexing drill. They're really short and very, very rigid. So, first I, pecked the hole, a little shallow hole in here, not very deep, it just needed to go in enough so that the drill bit couldn't wander. And so I went all the way around this whole thing. Once I had that spot, dead center in that spot, directly underneath the indexing drill, then I knew everything else was going to be exactly where it needed to be. All I had to do was know how many holes around, and of course 360 degrees divided by 12 holes means 30 degrees. That's all I needed to know. I didn't have to do any fancy calculations or anything. I just had to get the drill bit positioned directly over my first hole. That's it. Once that was in place, all I had to do is come down here, and so this little brass mark on here, there are 5 and 10 degree gradations all the way around here. So I just turn this, so right now it says 0, so 10, 20, 30, and there we go, right on 30. And so right now the drill bit is directly over that hole. I haven't touched anything. I haven't been eyeballing what's happening with the drill bit. I've just been looking down here at that thing, seeing where that is. Now here we go. Dead in. Exactly right on. So super easy to be able to drill a bolt pattern in anything like this. All you need to know is how many degrees apart each hole is, and have one hole that's on the radius that you need, and get your drill bit lined up with that, and you're done. No math, no drawings, no CAD, nothing. Just basic, super easy things to settle and work out. So anyway, yep, I have my bolt pattern all the way around, and I'm pretty darn sure it's going to match up perfectly. Well, anyway, I think that's the last video in this series. So these holes are all drilled at 6mm, and the holes that are in the motor flange are also 6mm. So these are going to get M6 bolts in them, and then they'll get nuts on the other side. So I had to make a compromise because of these little divots in here, from the original pattern that was in this rim. And that was getting the most metal that's complete and whole. So you'll notice like this one here, part of the wall is missing. So basically what I did was I took this whole thing. If I would have shifted it so that like these two holes completely split this gap, well, this hole over here would have a very thin wall like that one did. So my choice was, okay, how can I give this hole as much beef as I can and not lose that hole entirely? Because if I rotate too far, this hole is going to be over here, in which case it's nothing. It doesn't have any strength at all. So I wanted it to be in metal. So basically what I did was I took this whole thing and I rotated it just a smidge so that this hole would always be solid metal all the way around, and this one would be just on the edge. And as a result, this one's got a little bit of a wall left in it, but like that one there, it doesn't. There's another one over here that doesn't. But that was my compromise. That way I got as many bolt holes as possible that were solid metal, and at least all of them have most of their walls intact. So I'm pretty confident that this wheel will not be a problem. But that's just going to absolutely make sure of it. It would have been nice if these holes weren't in here to begin with, so that I didn't have to even deal with that, but it didn't really matter. I don't think it's going to matter. Well, I think that's it. This is the last video in this series. Yeah, this rim is ready to roll, get bolted down, and get a tire on it.